Okay, hi everyone. So today is our first class in November, basic troubleshooting. And today's class is going to focus on phones and iPads, but mostly phones today. So whether you have an iPhone or an Android, this class will be helpful for you. And I'm just gonna go over some basic things that everyone should know in case your phone freezes or doesn't feel like it's working, it turns black, maybe an application that you're using, like your mail is not working, things that may go wrong. I'm going to show you some basic ways of how to actually fix the problem. So I muted everyone, but if you have a question, you could always unmute yourself, or you could also type it in the chat and I'll get to your question. So let's get started. So one of the most common things that may happen with your phone is that it freezes because we all have smartphones. So because we have a smartphone, there's so many things that goes on with our phone, with mail and the internet. Some people may even have video games, they read the news. So eventually, right, our phone might get frozen. So I'm gonna go over the top 3 reasons why your phone may freeze and then ways of how to solve the issue. So one of the main reasons why your phone becomes frozen is that it needs to be restarted. So I am going to go over in the next slide the differences between restarting your phone and shutting down your phone, because they are two separate things. So when we do a reset on our phone, we are actually not just turning it off, but telling our phone that we need to just restart everything, give it like a reboot, like a power nap. That's basically when we restart our phone. And there's specific buttons to actually restart our phone depending on the model of the phone that we have. So I am going to explain that in the next slides, but just turning off our phone is not the same as restarting. So just keep that in mind as I explain it more in the next slide. Another reason why our phone may freeze is that it's out of memory. So if we have a phone today that's a bit older, we may have it for a few years. I would say like 5 or 6 years if anybody has a phone for that long, right? Your phone may be out of memory. You may have too many pictures, um, applications. Maybe you have a lot of mail. Maybe you have thousands of emails still on your phone. You have a bunch of messages accumulating over the years. All of that is taking up storage on your phone. Just like a computer, right? A computer, once it has too many files, it needs to be deleted. And it's the same thing with your phone, right? Your phone storage does not last forever. So it is important that, slowly you start deleting things that you don't need. If you have some pictures that are old, or you took some pictures of the floor by accident and you didn't even realize you did, all of those pictures add up and you should be deleting things. So that's another reason why your phone may freeze. And the third reason is that there is a software update. So whether you have an iPhone or an Android, right, your phone is constantly updating with new things. Sometimes these software updates are very helpful because in these software updates, they are resolving issues that your phone may be experiencing. Sometimes it's going to help you when your phone is acting a bit slow. Maybe it feels a bit glitchy, like the application is not working properly. You feel like the mail is not being sent fast enough. The software updates fix these problems. They can also fix very more serious issues. Sometimes the Apple company or the Samsung company, if you have a Samsung phone, they found out that the old software was very hackable by hackers around the world. So what they did was they patched those mistakes up, and they sent out a new update for us to put on our phone. So it is very important when we update our phone. So if you ever get a notification on your phone, a message that says your phone needs to be updated, plug it in, you should make sure to do that because it is fixing a lot of issues within your phone. Does anybody have any questions on this slide? Okay, so those are the three top reasons why your phone may become frozen. But let's go over now how to actually fix it when our phone gets frozen. So, like I said, right, restart versus shut down. You may have all shut down your phone before, right? You hold the button down and you slide the icon to shut it down. Or if you have a Samsung phone, you hold down your power button and you hit the shut down button. But shut down is not the same as restarting your phone. When you shut down your phone, essentially what you're doing is just powering it off, right? When you shut down your phone, everything that you've been doing on the phone, whether you've been sending a message to somebody, you were on the phone with someone, you were emailing someone, all of those apps just turn off, and right, your device turns in a state of inactivity. It can't do anything. You shut down your phone. Once it's shut down, right, you won't get any phone calls, you won't get any more messages because you turned off your phone. Just like it's the same thing as like when you turn off your TV in your house, right? That's what it means to shut down your phone. You can't use it until you get the remote and turn it back on. That's the same thing with when you shut down your phone. You can't use it until you turn it back on. However, restarting it is totally different than just shutting down your phone. When you actually restart your phone, that is just turning it off for a little bit and then it turns back on. It's like a refresh of the system. It's rebooting itself. So if you ever had a computer in the past, or if you still have a computer today, you may see that there's an option to restart your computer. So it's essentially doing is anytime there's minor issues with your phone, like it gets frozen or it feels glitchy, like it's not working properly, the app is not working, or it's just acting very slowly, the best option is to restart the phone. So when it restarts, the phone turns off and it turns back on and it restarts itself. It's like a quick power nap. And in the next slides, I am going to show you what each model, how to restart your phone. And since, it's hard to see it here and remember it on this PowerPoint today, I can also email everyone this PowerPoint as well as I am going to upload this video on YouTube. But let me show you guys how to actually restart your phone with both an iPhone and an Android. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. So, right, when we restart our iPhones, there are different ways to restart it depending on which iPhone you have. So it is best if everyone here today knows what iPhone they have. If not, you're going to not know how to properly restart your iPhone. So if you know that you have an iPhone 11, an iPhone 12, an iPhone 13, everyone here today should know exactly which one they have. And if you don't know which iPhone you have, it's very simple. You could go to the settings icon on your phone. It looks like this gray gear button all the way on the right corner of the PowerPoint. Once you get in your settings app, you click on General. So you would scroll down a little bit with your finger to find General. And then at the top, it says About. And then it'll tell you exactly what iPhone you have. If you have the iPhone 11, the 12, the 13, the SE, the 10, everyone here today is going to have a different iPhone model depending on the year that you brought it and your preference of the iPhone. So once everyone knows exactly what iPhone they have, then I can go on to the next slides to show you how to restart your iPhone, because each iPhone has a different way to restart depending on what you have. So I have the 13, and the 13 has specific ways to restart it. Then, if you're someone today that has the 8 or the 7 or the 6, the iPhone 7, the iPhone 6, so on. Okay. Was everybody able to figure out which iPhone they have? Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next slide if everyone's able to find out their model name. Okay, so if you're here today and you are somebody that has an iPhone 8, an iPhone 8 Plus, an iPhone 10, which is the iPhone X, the iPhone 11, the iPhone 12, the iPhone 13, 14, 15, and iPhone SE second generation, third generation. This is the slide for you. And as you can see, I have a little diagram going on that shows you exactly how your iPhone looks and the buttons to click on. So if you're someone here today that has a button at the bottom of your phone screen, right? This is not the slide for you. I will get to that in the next slides. But as you can see, how to restart your phone, you quickly press on the volume up, the volume down button, and then you hold down the power button on the right-hand side, and you hold it until your phone turns black and you see the Apple logo in the middle of your screen. And you don't have to, and then you could stop pressing the buttons and then it will turn on again on its own. But this is how we properly restart our phone. So in cases like our phone feels slower, an application is not working properly, maybe we're not getting reception, anything like those type of issues, we can quickly restart our phone so everything can refresh. Does anybody have any questions on this slide? Okay, good. So if you're someone here today now that has either an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 7 Plus, these are the steps for you. You are going to hold both the volume down button and the power button at the same time. You're going to hold those two together until you see the Apple logo. And once again, you don't have to do it right now because I know you're probably going to be using the phone for the presentation, but that's okay because I'm recording right now and I'll post it on YouTube hopefully by tomorrow or Monday. So you could always rewatch this again. And for those that have an iPhone 6 or even earlier than that, which is the iPhone SE first generation. So that is like if you got your phone from 2014 or 2015. The final steps, if you have a phone from those years, would be to, I don't have a picture for this one, so I'm just going to say it out loud. You would have to press and hold your home button. So that's that button on your screen. You hold down that button and the side button. Doesn't matter if it's the volume up or the volume down button. You could press those two together and it will restart it until you see the Apple logo. But I don't know. I don't think anyone here today has an iPhone 6. Okay, and now we're going to show you for Android phones. Android phones are a bit easier because most Android models, they all have the same way to do it. So just let me know if you can't find it, if anyone here today has an Android phone. So to restart an Android phone, what we want to do is press and hold the power button 5 to 10 seconds until we see a menu on the screen that gives us three options, whether we want to turn it off, restart it, or emergency mode. Emergency mode is to call our emergency contacts in 911. So that's one of the ways for Android phones, holding down your power button. The power button is usually at the top of your phone or on the right-hand side of your phone. You hold it down for 5 to 10 seconds. However, there was an instance where someone in my class on Tuesday, this did not work for them. So if your phone, if you do not see the menu to restart it, what you want to do is press the power button and hold either the volume down key or the just hold the, not either. You would press the power button, which is on the right-hand side of the phone, and then the volume down button together for 7 to 10 seconds. And that is how you can also restart your phone for Android phones. So those are the two ways. Any questions for those for Android phones? Hopefully we all found it. If you didn't, just let me know. You could always unmute yourselves. Okay, so now let's go over another issue that could happen on our phone. And another issue is our app becomes unresponsive. So when I say app, I mean application. And application could be anything on our phone, any of the apps. It could be that your phone app is not working, your message app is not working, emails are not working. Maybe you read the news, you read the New York Times. Maybe that application is not working. It could be a video game. It could be anything on your phone that you use, the calendar, the calculator, all those apps. If any of those apps are not working, like the screen freezes all of a sudden, maybe even it takes you back to the main screen, it just doesn't load properly. The reason is it's two things it could be. It could either be that your phone or tablet needs to be updated, right? That software update. Or in most cases, I would say 90% of the time, is just that you need to update the application. So just like our phone updates, but the same thing is that our apps also update. And those are two separate things. So many people think that when they update their phone, they're fine, everything is okay. But that's not true. You also have to update the apps on your phone. So if you're someone today that has the news app, maybe you guys have WhatsApp, Gmail, maybe you have Facebook on your phone, all of those apps need to become updated. And these updates happen very frequently, probably 2 to 3 weeks. There are new updates. I had somebody in the center on Tuesday where we went over this, and they had 78 apps that they needed to be updated. So what does that mean if you look today and you see that you have so many apps that need to be updated? What that means is that you have an old version of your application. Old versions of apps on your phone make your phone slower. because the application is going to have a bunch of glitches, which we call in the computer world bug fixes. We call them little bugs. And as well, you won't have the new features of the app. So that's why it's very important that you update both your phone and the apps on your phone. So then both the phone and the apps are compatible with each other. And I'm going to show you right now, how do we update our apps? How do we make sure that all our apps are updated? Because it's very important that we do this frequently. I would say every 2 weeks, I would check this on our phones. Any questions so far? Okay.
I
So
have a question. I have a question.
yes, go ahead.
Do you usually, I usually get an email telling me to update. Do we, or it shows on the screen when I try and use that? Is that unusual?
Well, not an you shouldn't get an email, but
Not
it
an
should be,
email. It just shows up when I,
yeah, like a message on your phone.
yes,
That's not
yes.
unusual. No,
Okay,
that's a good thing. That yes, your phone saying, there's time to update.
right.
You
Thanks.
should tap on it and, do it. Okay, so let me show everyone here today, how do we actually update apps on our phone so we can, always do that in the future. So if you're someone today that has an Apple iPhone, right? This is the first slide for you guys, and then we're gonna go over Samsung. So, sorry, let's go back. So if we get on our phones, we want to go to the App Store. So just for reference, I didn't put a picture of it. I just want to show everybody what it looks like so everyone can see. So if you see on my screen, this is the app that you want to look for. It's the blue icon that has like an A in the middle of it. That's our app store. And before we even tap on it, some people may even have like a number next to it at the top. That number sometimes signifies how many updates you need on your phone. So, okay, once we click on that application, hopefully everyone found that app. Now we can move on to the next step. So once we tap on that application, all the way at the top of our screen on the top upper right-hand corner is going to be your profile picture. Some people are not going to have a picture like me because I put that picture there, but you're just going to tap on it. You may not have a picture, but you're going to see a circle at least up there in the top upper right-hand corner. Once we tap all the way in the top upper right-hand corner, we're going to get a screen. And if we just scroll down a bit, you may see two things. Either that you do need to update some apps, or they have already updated, and it would say updated recently, and next to each of the applications it will say open, open, open. That means that your phone automatically updated it for you and you don't have to worry about it. However, if you see the words update, update, update next to each of your apps, you should press on it right now and let them update, because it's always good to have your apps and the newest version. Did everyone, find this page or needs help? Make sure you scroll down to find this section. When you click on your icon in the top upper right-hand corner, make sure you scroll down with your finger to find the section that shows your apps and if they need to be updated. And I always recommend, my tip is, you should always look at this page every 2 weeks or so, because your phones are constantly going to be giving you the newer updates, whereas software updates only happen every 3 to 6 months. apps update more frequently. So I would say 2 weeks or so, just come back to this page, because for me, I went and I looked and I had 16 apps to be updated. So some people may have some or may not. It's always good to just check. Any questions for those that for iPhone users? Okay, so we're gonna move on now to Samsung phones, Android. And we're going to go over how to update apps for you guys. So once again, we are going to go to the Google Play Store. I'm going to once again show you what the app is. The Google Play Store is an app that looks like a rainbow triangle. And that is the application you want to find on your phone screen for if you have a Samsung Android phone. Any phone that's just not an iPhone, it will have this application. And the next steps would be, if we go, so just like with iPhones, right, all the way in the top upper right hand corner should be either a picture in a circle or the initial of your first or last name, all the way in the top upper right hand corner. So this is Riverdale Senior Services account. So all the way in the top upper right hand corner has a little R inside of a circle, because our account is RSS. But it'll probably your name, or it'll probably be your last name, or it could be a picture. Sometimes people put a picture instead of the initial. Once we tap on that, we will get a menu screen of different options. And we are going to tap on where it says Manage Apps and Devices. And once we tap on Manage Apps and Devices, there is going to be a screen that says Updates Available, or it will say Updated Recently, and it'll have a number next to it. And when we tap on that, we can see a list of all the apps that may need to be updated on our phone. So once we tap on Manage Apps and Device, you're going to find where it says Updates Available. Some of them may say pending, may say updated recently, or it'll give you the name Updates Available. And you'll get a list of all the apps just like here. Everyone able to find that? Anybody have questions on that?
No, I found it. Thank you.
Okay, good. So yeah, same thing. If you see on your screen that, you have 20 updates or even more, it'd be really good if you just update it right now. It's not going to disturb your phone or anything. It's actually going to make your phone faster, and it's going to give them the newest updates, so your phone can feel a bit brand new. So I recommend always updating your apps when you see that it needs to be updated. Okay, so we're gonna move on now then. If everyone, doesn't have any questions on that, we're gonna move on to our final section of today's PowerPoint, which is another common issue that people have on their phones, which is internet connection issues. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why there could be an internet connection issue, right? There's two ways that people use the internet. One way is with cellular data. What is cellular data? That is the plan that we pay to our phone company to provide us internet. So what do I mean by that? I mean your plan to either Verizon, Optimum, AT&T, Metro PCS, and so on, right? Those are the companies that give us cellular data to provide us internet when we go outside, and we go on with our day, right? Cellular data is going to be on our phone, so we can make our phone calls, we can send our text messages to people outside, we could go on and browse on the internet. That is cellular data. And then some people here today may also have Wi-Fi. And right, Wi-Fi is specific to our apartment or our house or the center. Wi-Fi is not something that you have 24/7 when you're walking outside, because Wi-Fi is exclusive to that area. Once you leave that area, the Wi-Fi turns off. So I'm going to explain it in some different scenarios. So for example, if you came to RSS and you came to our center, we provide Wi-Fi to the members, and you can connect to our Wi-Fi when you enter our password. But once you leave RSS and you start walking back to your apartment, you disconnect from our Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is a limited range only. Same thing with your house, right? If you have Wi-Fi in your apartment and then you decide to take a trip to Times Square, you're no longer going to be connected to the Wi-Fi in your apartment. Instead, your phone switches to cellular data. So just think of cellular data as internet connection all around you once you leave a specific place. And Wi-Fi is exclusive to one area with limited range. Those are the differences between the two. Cellular data is always, going to be available because your phone tries to connect you to the different cellular towers all around you. Whereas Wi-Fi, it's only connecting to that exclusive building, that apartment, the coffee shop, and so on. Wi-Fi is not connecting to the towers around us. It's connecting to like a small little box in our apartment, which we call a router or a modem. So, but sometimes, right, issues can arise, and sometimes there might be a network issue where our phone is not able to connect to the cellular towers. And sometimes it's because, you're in spotty areas, right? For example, if you go hiking and you're somewhere high up in the mountains, there's not going to be good reception there. Same thing when you go below, like on the train, in the train stations. There's also not good connection there because you're so below underground that your phone cannot connect to a cellular tower. And then sometimes, right, when you're just walking in the city, sometimes your phone just may act up and it won't connect, right, for some reason. So when those things happen, I am going to show you a little trick that people do to try to get their internet connection back. Does anybody have any questions so far with what I was explaining? Okay. And the last thing that's on this slide before I show you the little trick of how to get your internet back, I just want to explain quickly airplane mode. Airplane mode is essentially, right, it says it in the word, it's used on airplanes. So if you've been on the flights recently, right, a lot of people take their electronics on the airplane. And because everyone's phone and tablet and computer are connected all around us, sometimes it can disturb the pilot's navigation system. So because of that, the flight attendant tells everybody, please put your phone on airplane mode. And when you put your phone on airplane mode, it turns off all of your internet connections. It turns off your data. It turns off the Wi-Fi. And sometimes on the plane, right, later on, they'll tell you you could take it off airplane mode and connect to the plane's Wi-Fi. But that's essentially what it is. With airplane mode, it could also be used as a trick to get your internet back to work. Because when we do airplane mode, right, we're disabling every connection that's on our phone. We're telling our phone, I don't want to use any of the internet connections right now. So what it does is essentially turns it off. And when we turn it back on, it's kind of like a restart, essentially, that once we turn everything off, it's rebooting itself, but it's not rebooting the phone, it's not rebooting the apps, it's just rebooting all of our internet issues. So sometimes when people are outside and they can't make a phone call, it's very bad, spotty reception. People turn on airplane mode for maybe a minute, not even, maybe 30 seconds, and then they turn it back off, and their phone kind of refreshes all their internet connections, and they're able to make a phone call, or they're able to send their text message to someone. So I'm going to show you here today, where to find these connections, the shortcut way, because I know that a lot of people, you could just go to your settings and find it that way, but there's a simpler way to quickly get to our cellular data, our Wi-Fi, and our airplane mode, which is faster than going to our settings. So how do we access all these internet connections on our iPhone? So hopefully everyone here today was able to figure out their model name, right? I hope you all were able to figure out if you have an iPhone 13, an 8, a 6, a 7, because once again, to go to the shortcut, it is essential that you know what model you have, so then you can know how to find this section, because it's different depending on if you have the 10, the 11, the 12, so on. So right here, maybe we have seen this screen before if we have an iPhone. Sometimes your finger may accidentally get to the screen if you're swiping up and down by accident on your phone. So for some people here today, hopefully you have seen this screen before. And we call this our control center on our phone. And we call it the control center because it has all of our options that are quick options, our shortcut options for internet connection, for volume, for brightness, for turning on a flashlight. That's why we call it the control center, because it's like different buttons that control our phone. But if we look all the way in the top left-hand corner for iPhones, we can see that we have these 4 icons. One is the airplane, and it looks like the airplane, so that's airplane mode. Then right next to it, we have our cellular data, and it kind of actually looks like a cellular tower. And then right under it, we have our Wi-Fi button, which is this one right here that I just made an arrow to it. And then next to it is Bluetooth. And those are the 4 important connections on our phone. Bluetooth is something different. Bluetooth is when we connect our phone to either a speaker, a TV, so that our printer, so that's different. But for today, we're focusing on the 3 things: airplane, cellular data, and Wi-Fi. So sometimes people come and see me for appointments, and a lot of times they tell me, Tabitha, my phone is just not making phone calls, or something's not happening. These messages are not coming through. So the first thing I always do is I come to this page, I come to the control center, and I look at these icons on their phone, and I make sure that their cellular data is always on. And I know it's on because it's in green. When there's colors on the icons, it means that they're on, right? So if my cellular data was off, it wouldn't be green, it would be gray. And next to it, I make sure that their airplane mode is off, because if airplane mode is on, that means that they cannot receive any phone calls or messages because they turned off all of their connections. So next time, if you ever run into an issue where you feel like your phone is not making phone calls, it's not sending text messages, or you can't get on the internet, you want to come to this screen, which I will show you how to get to it in the next slide. And you want to make sure that that airplane mode is not turned on. It needs to stay in that gray color. It turns orange if it's on. And you want to make sure that cellular data button is still in green. Those are the two things to always look out for. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to get to this page if you do not know already. If you're here today and you have either the iPhone 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, or the 15, you are going to swipe down with your finger all the way in the top upper right-hand corner. So where your battery is, where you can see your battery in that icon all the way in the top upper right-hand corner, you're going to just swipe down with your finger there very gently, and you're going to get the screen, just like how it's showing in the diagram on the screen. Okay. And if you're somebody that has an iPhone SE, an iPhone 8, 7, or 6, instead of swiping down, you're going to be swiping up from the bottom edge of the screen. So this one is a little trickier than others, but you could see here on the phone, what they're doing is like right in the middle, right on top of where the button is. Make sure you're still touching on the screen and not where the button is. You're swiping up in the middle to get the screen. And you don't have to do it where the clock is. You could also do it where your apps are. It works either way to swipe up from the bottom of the screen. And that is how we get the screen for iPhones. And then we're going to go over Androids. Any questions on that for iPhones? Okay, so we're going to go now to Android and Samsung phones of how to access this screen. And it does look a bit similar like an iPhone with the icons, depending on what type of Android phone you have, right? Your icons may be in circle form, like an iPhone, or they may be like in these rectangular kind of icons here on the left-hand side of the screen. But they do the same exact thing. It's just that different phones have different ways to style their icons and so on. Okay, so how do we do this for Android phones? With our finger, once again, it should be the same for all Android phones, is we're going to swipe from the top of our screen and we're going to swipe down. So all the way at the top of our screen, we're going to just swipe down. And once we swipe down, we should see that we have some like icons, like a menu screen of different icons. And if we swipe down one more time, then the full screen opens up and you will see your icons like this on the screen here. So the first time you swipe down on your screen, the icons are only going to appear at the portion at the top of the screen. They're kind of small. But then if you just swipe down one more time, it will open up to full screen, just like here on the screen. If that makes sense to everyone on the call. So you have to swipe down 2 times. One time it will open it up, and then the second time to make it full screen.